They don't tell you this when you're going through pain. They don't tell you when you're sitting alone, late at night, replaying everything in your head, wondering where things went wrong. They don't tell you that the very thing you're trying to escape is the thing that can transform your life. Pain is uncomfortable. Pain is heavy. Pain makes you question everything. But pain is not your enemy. Pain is your raw material. Every strong person you admire, every confident leader, every disciplined athlete, every successful entrepreneur, they all have one thing in common. They were tested. They were pushed. They were broken down before they were built up. And that's the part nobody shows you. You see the success, but you don't see the sleepless nights. You see the confidence, but you don't see the self-doubt they had to fight through. You see the results, but you don't see the pain that created them. The truth is simple. You cannot build strength without resistance. You cannot discover your limits without being pushed. And you cannot become powerful without first facing pain. Right now, whatever you're going through, it feels personal. Maybe you've been rejected. Maybe you failed at something you gave everything to. Maybe you feel lost, stuck, or like you're falling behind, while everyone else seems to be moving forward. And it hurts. It's supposed to hurt. But here's what most people get wrong. They think pain means stop. They think pain means something is wrong. They think pain is a sign that they're not meant for something bigger. But what if pain is actually a signal that you're growing? Think about it. When you go to the gym for the first time, your muscles hurt, not because you're getting weaker, but because you're getting stronger. The same thing applies to your life. Emotional pain, mental pressure, failure, rejection. It's all resistance. And resistance builds strength, but only if you choose to face it. Most people don't. Most people run. They distract themselves. They scroll endlessly. They avoid the discomfort. They wait for things to get easier. And that's why they stay the same. Because growth doesn't happen in comfort. Growth happens when you lean into the pain, when you stop running from it and start using it. You have to understand something very important. Pain gives you energy. It might not feel like it, but it does. That frustration you feel, that anger, that disappointment, that's energy. And you can either let that energy destroy you, or you can channel it into something powerful. That's the difference between people who stay stuck and people who transform their lives. One lets pain control them. The other uses pain as fuel. You have to decide which one you're going to be, because life is not going to stop challenging you. There will always be obstacles. There will always be setbacks. There will always be moments where you feel like quitting. But those moments, they are defining moments. They are the moments that shape who you become. When everything is easy, anyone can keep going. But when things get hard, when you feel like you have nothing left, when the pain is real, that's when your character is built. That's when you find out what you're really made of. Right now, you might feel like your pain is holding you back. But the truth is, it's trying to push you forward. It's trying to force you to grow. It's trying to turn you into someone stronger, smarter, and more resilient. But you have to cooperate with it. You have to stop seeing pain as something negative and start seeing it as something necessary. Because it is. Every setback you faced, every mistake you made, every time things didn't go your way, there was a lesson in it. There was growth in it. There was an opportunity hidden inside it. But if you focus only on the pain, you will miss the power. That's why your mindset matters. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Instead of saying, I can't handle this, say, this is building me. Because it is. Even if you don't see it yet. Even if it doesn't make sense right now. Growth is not always visible. Sometimes it happens quietly. Sometimes it happens in the moments when you feel like nothing is changing. But something is changing. You are changing. Every time you choose to keep going instead of giving up, every time you push through discomfort, every time you refuse to quit, you are becoming stronger, piece by piece, day by day, and eventually that strength compounds. It builds. It transforms you until one day you're not the same person anymore. You're more disciplined, more focused, more resilient, and it all started with pain. This is why you cannot waste your struggles. You cannot go through hard times and learn nothing from them. Because if you do, then the pain really is pointless. But when you use your pain, when you turn it into motivation, when you let it push you instead of paralyze you, that's when everything changes. That's when you start taking control. That's when you stop being a victim and start becoming a creator of your mindset, a creator of your habits, a creator of your future, because your circumstances do not define you. Your response does. Two people can go through the same struggle and end up in completely different places. One gives up, the other rises. One blames the world, the other builds themselves. One stays stuck in pain, the other turns pain into power. The difference? Decision. And that decision is available to you right now. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need everything to be figured out. You just need to decide that you will not let your pain go to waste, that you will use it, that you will grow from it, that you will become stronger because of it. Because the truth is, you've already survived so much. Think about that. Everything you thought would break you didn't. Everything you thought you couldn't handle, you handled. You're still here. And that means you have more strength than you give yourself credit for. But survival is just the beginning. Now it's time to transform. Now it's time to take everything you've been through and use it. Use the pain. Use the struggle. Use the setbacks. Turn them into discipline. Turn them into focus. Turn them into drive. Because when you do that, pain stops being something that holds you back and becomes something that pushes you forward. This is where your power comes from. Not from comfort, not from ease, but from struggle, from resilience, from the decision to rise, no matter what. So don't run from your pain. Face it, feel it, understand it, and then use it, because buried inside your struggles is the strongest version of you, and it's waiting to be unleashed. Fire. Now here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Turning pain into power is not automatic. Just because you've struggled, just because you've been through hard times, doesn't mean you'll come out stronger. A lot of people go through pain and stay broken. A lot of people face setbacks and never recover. A lot of people experience failure and let it define them for the rest of their lives. Why? Because pain by itself doesn't change you. What you do with that pain does. That's where everything shifts. Because at some point, you have to stop waiting for the pain to disappear and start deciding what you're going to do with it. You have to take responsibility, not for what happened to you, but for who you're going to become because of it. That's a powerful shift. Because when you take responsibility, you take control. And when you take control, you take your power back. Right now, you might feel like life has knocked you down, like things didn't go your way, like people let you down, opportunities slipped away, plans fell apart, and maybe they did. But staying stuck in that story, that's a choice. And it's a choice that will keep you exactly where you are. You have to break that cycle. You have to stop replaying what went wrong and start focusing on what you can do next. Because power is not in the past. Power is in action. Right now, today, in the decisions you make moving forward. You don't need to fix your whole life overnight. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to start moving, even if it's small. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it feels pointless at first, because action creates momentum, and momentum changes everything. When you're stuck in pain, you feel frozen. You overthink. You doubt yourself. You hesitate. But the moment you take action, even a small step, something shifts. You feel a little more in control. You feel a little more confident. You feel a little more alive. That's how power starts building. Not in your thoughts, but in your actions. You have to train yourself to move forward, especially when you don't feel like it. Because here's the reality. You're not always going to feel motivated. You're not always going to feel ready. You're not always going to feel strong. But you can still act. And that's what separates winners from everyone else. They don't wait for the perfect mood. They don't wait for motivation to show up. They act anyway. They use their pain as a reason to move, not an excuse to stop. That's a mindset you have to develop, because if you rely on feelings, you'll stay stuck. Feelings change. Some days you'll feel strong. Some days you won't. Some days you'll feel confident. Some days you'll doubt everything. That's normal. But discipline stays. Discipline is doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. And pain can help you build that discipline. Because when you've been through enough, when you felt enough discomfort, when you've hit that point where you're tired of being stuck, you reach a moment where you say, enough is enough. That moment, that's where transformation begins. Because now you're not just wishing for change, you're demanding it from yourself. And when you reach that point, you become dangerous in the best way possible. You stop making excuses. You stop waiting. You stop settling. You start working. You start pushing. You start becoming. But here's something important you need to understand. This journey is not easy. Turning pain into power takes time. It takes consistency. It takes effort. There will be days where you feel like you're making progress, and days where you feel like you're going backwards. There will be moments where you're strong, and moments where you feel like giving up again. That's part of the process. Growth is not a straight line. It's messy. It's uncomfortable. It's challenging. But it's worth it. Because every time you push through, you're building something inside yourself that nobody can take away from you. Resilience, confidence, strength. These are not things you're born with. These are things you earn through struggle, through effort, through refusing to quit. And once you build them, they stay with you. That's real power, not something temporary, not something external, but something internal, something unshakable. And it all starts with how you respond to pain. You have to start seeing pain differently, not as something that's ruining your life, but as something that's preparing you for more. Because think about it, if everything was easy, if you never struggled, if you never failed, would you really grow? Would you really become stronger? Or would you stay comfortable, average, the same? Pain forces you to evolve. It forces you to level up. It forces you to become someone who can handle more, do more, be more. And that's exactly what you need if you want to achieve something great. You can't build an extraordinary life with an average mindset. You can't reach a higher level without going through challenges that test you. That's the price of growth. And pain is part of that price. But here's the good news. You're already paying it. You're already going through the struggle. You're already feeling the discomfort. So why not get something out of it? Why not use it? Why not turn it into something powerful? That's the shift. Instead of resisting pain, start using it as fuel. Let it push you to wake up earlier. Let it push you to work harder. Let it push you to stay consistent, even when it's hard. Every time you feel that discomfort, that's your reminder. A reminder that you're growing. A reminder that you're becoming stronger. A reminder that you're on the right path. Because easy paths don't lead to powerful outcomes. Difficult paths do. So embrace it. Embrace the struggle. Embrace the challenge. Embrace the pain. Because on the other side of it is a version of you that is stronger than anything trying to hold you back. A version of you that doesn't quit. A version of you that doesn't settle. A version of you that turns every obstacle into an opportunity. And that version, it's not far away. It's being built right now through everything you're going through. But you have to keep going. You have to stay in the fight. You have to keep choosing growth, even when it's hard. Because the moment you stop, you lose momentum. And the moment you keep going, you build power. So don't stop. Not now. Not when you've already come this far. Use what you've been through. Let it shape you, not break you. Let it push you, not hold you back. Because your pain has a purpose. And that purpose is to turn you into someone unstoppable. Fire. Life has a way of testing us when we least expect it. It doesn't announce itself with a warning. It doesn't give you a manual or instructions. It hits hard, fast, and often all at once. And if you're not prepared, it can feel crushing. But here's the truth most people never realize. Pain is temporary. The strength you gain from facing it is permanent. Every difficult experience, every setback, every disappointment is an opportunity to grow. But opportunity doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It comes wrapped in struggle. It comes wrapped in challenges. It comes wrapped in moments where you feel like giving up. Those moments are your chance to decide who you are. Because you have two options every time life hits you. You can stay down or you can rise. And rising isn't easy. It requires discipline. It requires patience. It requires courage. It requires refusing to let your circumstances define you. Think about anyone you admire, anyone who inspires you. None of them became successful without struggle. None of them became powerful without pain. They didn't wait for the easy road. They didn't wait for comfort. They didn't wait for life to hand them a smooth path. They faced adversity head-on. They embraced discomfort. They learned to use their challenges as fuel, not as an excuse. Because here's the key. Pain itself doesn't make you strong. Your response does. How you react when things go wrong, when life feels unfair, when your dreams feel out of reach, that's what builds character. That's what builds resilience. That's what builds power. And it's available to you right now. You don't need permission. You don't need luck. You don't need someone else to make it happen for you. All you need is a decision to keep moving forward, even when it hurts, even when it's hard, even when you feel like quitting. That's the moment where growth happens. Because it's easy to be strong when life is easy. But true strength, real power, comes from continuing when life is difficult. It comes from pushing past doubt. It comes from rising after failure. It comes from working when no one is watching. It comes from believing in yourself even when nobody else does. And here's the secret that most people never understand. Your struggles are your edge. Your struggles are what give you an advantage over everyone who quits, everyone who stops trying, everyone who settles for less. When you learn to embrace your pain, to lean into it, to use it, you become unstoppable. Because now, you're no longer limited by fear. You're no longer limited by excuses. You're no longer limited by what others think. You've learned to harness your struggles, to turn them into action, to turn them into growth, to turn them into results. And that's how ordinary people become extraordinary. That's how dreams become reality. That's how life transforms from something that happens to you into something you create. But it starts with one thing: belief. Belief that your pain is not a punishment, but a purpose. Belief that your struggles are not setbacks, but setups. Belief that everything you've been through is preparing you for something greater. Because when you believe that, you stop seeing obstacles and start seeing opportunities. You stop seeing failure and start seeing lessons. You stop seeing pain and start seeing power. And once you reach that point, nothing can stop you. No criticism, no rejection, no disappointment, no setback. Because you know how to turn every challenge into fuel, every obstacle into momentum, every struggle into strength. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. The more resilient you get, the more confident you feel, the more unstoppable you become. So if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling hurt, if you're feeling like life is too hard, remember this. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is a teacher. Pain is a pathway to power. And you don't have to wait for the pain to end. You just have to learn how to use it, to learn from it, to let it shape you into someone stronger, smarter, and more determined than ever before. Because your life isn't over. Your best days aren't behind you. Your struggles don't define you. What defines you is how you respond. What defines you is your ability to rise. What defines you is your decision to take your pain and turn it into power. And that's the choice you can make today, not tomorrow. Not next week, today, because the moment you start using your struggles, you start creating the life you were always meant to live. The life where nothing can hold you back. The life where you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're becoming the strongest version of yourself, step by step, struggle by struggle, victory by victory. And that's the power waiting for you if you decide to claim it. Fire. This is it. The moment where everything comes together. All the struggles, all the pain, all the sleepless nights, all the doubts. It's led you here to this decision. Will you stay the same or will you rise? Because here's the truth you need to hear, loud and clear. Your pain is not a roadblock. It's a bridge. It's the bridge from who you are to who you are capable of becoming. Every challenge you faced has been preparing you. Every failure has been teaching you. Every heartbreak, every loss, every disappointment has been shaping you. And now you have a choice. You can stay stuck in the story of what went wrong, or you can use it to write the story of who you're becoming. Power doesn't come from waiting for life to be easy. Power comes from showing up again and again despite the difficulty. Power comes from looking your pain in the eye and saying, "This will not define me. This will not break me. This will make me stronger." Think about it. Every great person you admire, every individual who achieved something extraordinary, they all had moments where it seemed impossible, where the world felt against them, where their strength was tested. But they didn't give up. They didn't quit. They didn't let the struggle stop them. They turned their pain into fuel. They turned their struggle into action. They turned their failures into lessons. And that's exactly what you can do. You've already survived so much. You've already overcome challenges you thought would destroy you. Now it's time to take it one step further. It's time to take the energy you've been carrying, the anger, the frustration, the disappointment, and channel it into discipline, into focus, into relentless action toward the life you deserve. Because here's the ultimate truth. Your past doesn't define you. Your circumstances don't define you. Your pain doesn't define you. You define you. Every choice you make from this moment forward, every small action you take, every time you refuse to quit, you are building the strongest version of yourself, the version who doesn't give in to fear, the version who doesn't let setbacks dictate the future, the version who takes control and turns adversity into advantage. That person is already inside of you, the person who can rise from anything, who can face any challenge, who can transform every struggle into a stepping stone. They've been growing quietly inside you through every trial you faced. Now it's time to let them out. It's time to stop asking why me and start asking what now? What now will you do to take control of your life? What now will you do to turn your struggles into strength? What now will you do to become unstoppable? Because the world doesn't reward those who wait. It rewards those who rise, those who take pain and transform it into purpose, those who turn setbacks into momentum, those who take every failure and let it fuel their growth. You have that power. It's in you right now. All you have to do is claim it, step forward, take action, rise above, and when you do, you won't just survive your struggles. You will thrive because of them. You will become stronger, smarter, and more powerful than you ever imagined. Your pain will become your power, fire, and from this moment forward, nothing will be able to stop you.